This is how we do it, bitches.
Coming soon to the theater.
It's alive. It's moving. It's coming this way.
What is up, everybody? It's your buddy Brian, back for another episode of the Horror Movie Club. The club where, what do? We watch horror movies, bitches. Last week, we had a rerun because I was a bit under the weather, but I'm back, motherfuckers. And, of course, who else is back? My boy, your boy, Matt Burke. What is up, my brother?
What's up, man? Just this beer right here I'm about to chug down.
What you got? What you got? I'm okay. I'm just having a
805,
soda.
just like the standard dad beer, you know, that doesn't have a fucking weirdo on the side of it.
Does it? What kind of a beer is it?
My
Like
trusty.
a pilsner? Yeah, boy. I love mine.
Basically, but it's got to be really cold. Yeah, you got to serve it like extremely cold. It's
Gotcha.
really bomb. So highly recommend it.
No, oh man, it's been a while since I had a beer. I like wheat beer.
That's wheat or weed.
Wheat.
Okay, like
Wheat.
Heffenweizen.
No. I do partake of the ganja, but the ganja flavored beer is
Bong water or
it might exist. It might exist. I mean, I had a jalapeno beer that was actually pretty good.
Ooh, that's spicy. That sounds good.
Man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Pops, how are you doing, man?
You had some crazy edge chili beer.
But no. What happened was I was at the Alamo Draft House, and last time I was there, Alamo Draft House, if you've never been, it's basically like a bar that has nothing but like microbrewery beer.
Yeah, that's dope.
Right? And they have a chalkboard of like all like the seasonal beers and shit like that. And so what do I always do? First of all, the staff always love it when you fucking defer to them and you just like ask them like, well, like, what do you like?
Yeah, right. They're
Right.
like deer in the headlights, but then they kind of crack the smile like, okay, well, we're talking about something cool, so yeah, I'm down to tell you. I'm about to.
Yeah. Well, but also it's just like, it's just like there's so much shit. It's just like, well, what's good? Ask the fucking people who work there.
Well, see, because there's a microbrewery in Cave Creek, Arizona called Crazy Ed's, and they do chili beer, and there's a chili, an actual chili in each bottle of beer.
No
that sounds
shit.
good.
No shit.
And it's like spicy beer. You know,
Yeah.
Nice.
It's exactly what you think Mexicans would drink.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
It's what you would imagine like the real Corona would be like.
Exactly. It's got a little kick.
The organic one.
Hi,
Yeah,
Ken.
man.
Hex,
What up, Terry?
What's up?
Hex, good to see you, brother, man. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate you. Much love. Oh, Dave. What up, Dave? Anybody tuning in, thank you so much. We do appreciate your asses. Tonight we are talking about Stuart Gordon's DAGON, which is Stuart Gordon. If you don't know who Stuart Gordon is the guy who directed Reanimator. Well, actually, you know what? It's a team. It's Stuart Gordon directing, Dennis Paoli writing. They did Reanimator together, and that was a surprise hit. It was one of those movies that it was cool for critics to like, right? Like every now and then there'd be some weird little horror movie where the critics would be nice to it. And somehow there was a consensus that they liked that one. And so it got a small theatrical release, and Stuart Gordon's career was off and running. Naturally, the second movie they did together was another Lovecraft movie, From Beyond. And then they did Castle Freak, which is
that
not
was
Lovecraft, right? But
groundbreaking though, like fucking fucks with you hardcore. We did that one about 6 months ago. I seen that it populated on Tubi, also a few other Lovecraft ones. I was like, I was up late watching it last night. I was up until like 4 a.m.
Oh wow!
Because I watched it and I fell asleep the night prior. You know me. But I had to finish it.
Well, Hex was actually saying that like he kept trying to watch it today and he just keeps getting interrupted.
Oh yeah, totally. It happens, And I'm usually doing like I'm usually drawing basically, like storyboarding or drawing, and it's like looking up real quick,
That's good. You're being productive, brother. So Reanimator and From Beyond were Lovecraft adaptations, but they had two things that Lovecraft hated and that you did not find in his stories: sex and humor. Right? Because one of the things that makes Lovecraft such an intense read is his intensity, where you get the feeling that he's not joking, he's not fucking around here. His stories are out to get you. They're out to get you the way that, like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Night of the Living Dead is coming to get you, right? And although From Beyond was like a pretty solid follow-up, it still felt, silly, goofy. This is, remember, the end of the 80s, post Evil Dead 2, where the horror movies were getting sillier and sillier and sillier. That's what made Hellraiser so refreshing, was the fact that it was fucking just balls out, right?
Yeah, horror.
Hardcore horror, like just like ferocious, out to get you.
Yeah.
And then so they did Castle Freak, and I remember renting that. It was direct to video, and I remember getting really, really stoned and putting that on and kind of regretting it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, wait, I thought I was going into like, this is like the Reanimator guys.
Yeah.
And they're not fucking around anymore with that movie. You're just like, where's like
Castle Freak?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
right?
Totally.
That's a genuinely mean-spirited horror movie. Like, it's ruthless.
Yeah.
And brilliant, I think. And so they ended up having one last collaboration together, and that was tonight's movie, Dagon. Dagon is the it's really not based on H.P. Lovecraft's story, Dagon. It's based on the Shadow Over Innsmouth. Now, if you don't know about the Shadow Over Innsmouth, holy fucking shit. It is really one of the classic Lovecraft stories. Basically, it's about a guy who goes to a town that's by the seashore. It's a fishing village, and it's populated with nothing but these freakish, half-human, like fish people.
Yeah, right? Totally. Dude, they made a game, too. Do you know about Sunken City? Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Oh yes. Man, it's totally like this. I was watching Razor Fist like 6 months ago, and they're and I had heard of this story before too from somewhere else, but I'm like, oh, I heard that. That's a Lovecraft. They're playing the game, and then tonight, or you did this week. I was like, oh, okay. Like everything started kind of clicking together, and I was just like, this is fucking dope. They're like, this is some original shit right here. These are like fucking mer zombie monsters. But they're not stupid. Or I'm sorry, mer zombie monsters, but they're not really. Well, you know what I mean? We'll get into that.
They're people that are degenerating into a really hideous life form, right?
Shadow.
Because they're hybrids. Now, just the title, The Shadow Over Innsmouth, right? I mean, it's very kind of blatant. Innsmouth
very
in
much so.
The mouth, right?
Yeah,
that's right. Where the title for John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness comes from. And
madness.
it did into madness. If you haven't read that story and you get a chance, it's I would say it's like a novella. It's like novella length. It's like
perfect.
About 50 to 75 pages.
That's perfect. He has a couple that are like that too, right? Like, is it Reanimator short like that?
Oh, Reanimator is just 6 short stories.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I bought it as a pamphlet when it was out of print. Right?
That's
because
crazy.
I was into Lovecraft before Lovecraft really blew up. Now Lovecraft has blown up so much bigger than I ever thought. I remember as a kid reading El Sprogdecamp's Lovecraft biography, right? And this is when like the only people who were into Lovecraft were like hippies, and the same weird people that made The Lord of the Rings so popular, right? Were also often into Lovecraft. And I remember El Sprogdecamp saying that, like, in terms of like Lovecraft's reputation, that one day he might overtake Poe. And it's happened.
Sure. Yeah, like totally, like Poe who? I don't know. Sorry, but yeah, totally 100%. Well, I mean, like you look at some of your favorite horror authors, you know,
he's
like King,
everywhere.
Like, where do they go back from? Like, what is their inspiration? You know, it's Lovecraft, and then you go back like, he's homies with Robert E. Howard. They're pen pals. There's some cross pollination, like the Hyperborea and you know the elder gods. They're in the same universe, dude, and they were cool with it.
They are, and
I think that they took inspiration from each other, and like, you know what I mean. So they're in that is in Conan's universe. It's in Hyperborea, the elder god, the old ones, right?
Yeah, so, it was. That was not so much like we're going to join our universes.
Right.
That was more of a way of saying like yo to their homie like, in a story.
Look at the hat, you know?
Yeah. Because Lovecraft corresponded with Ramsey Campbell. I mean, not Ramsey Campbell. What am I saying? That's another writer who was early stories are just straight up like secondhand Lovecraft, right? So many. If you read like actually. Jerusalem's Lot, which is like Stephen King's first
Salem's
short story.
Lot, right? Yeah.
Well, it's a short story called Jerusalem's Lot
that became Salem's Lot, right?
Yes, but it's like Lovecraft. But the thing is, Salem's Lot is Stephen King, but that first story, it's Lovecraft.
And like Guillermo del Toro, he's a big one. Mike Mignola, he's like his whole universe is based off of Lovecraft. You know, so that was my entry into Lovecraft. Was hearing Guillermo del Toro talk about it on the message boards for the Hellboy movie. And I didn't know about Hellboy until watching Blade 2. And that's how I learned about Guillermo. And I learned about that. And it just kind of kept trickling on. And you find out about Mike Mignola. You know, I had seen the Bowen statue of Hellboy socking the ground in the comic book store. I'm like, damn, that character Hellboy, he sure looks cool. All right, where's my Wolverine and Sabretooth and Punisher? You know what I mean? I never got into Hellboy until like kind of right before the movie came out.
Right. Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same here. I mean, I always enjoyed Mignola's work, but I went through a period where I wasn't reading a lot of comics, right? Most of us as fans have little vacations that we take.
Yeah, totally.
Right? And I don't think that that's a bad thing. Sometimes also, you know, the comics coming out might not be really hot at that moment. So you sort of dip out and say, well, I'll see what they're doing in like 6 months or a year or something like that. Right.
Right.
Or you're just like, you get out of the habit of going to the comic book store and then you're like driving by one day and you're like, well, fuck it. Let me just drop in. And
that's what I would do. I dipped out forever. I dipped out for years, but I would always stay consistent with the Goon. Like I collected every fucking Goon issue. Eventually I started getting up on the Hellboy, you know, but like that was just it was just exactly what I was into, you know. What up, Phil?
What up, Phil?
But that was the one thing I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it, you know. But those breaks, sometimes you would I don't know, I would take those breaks. Sometimes, you know, you get that whole like too cool for school time, you know, like maybe in the elder years of high school and early 20s, but then you know, if you're really into them, I think they're going to kind of creep their way back into your life.
Oh, they you know what? They always do. And
what's up, Keith?
Nowadays, it's what up, Keith? It's really awesome time to be a comic book fan in the sense that even though the American comic book industry is fucking dead and buried, cause of death, American comic book industry, deceased, cause of death, suicide. Right?
Yeah.
Fucking self-deleted, you know, not just, I mean, But at the same time, comics are more popular than they've ever been. It's just everybody's reading manga. But
manga,
that's
BD,
the comic
and
book is.
the indie scene's starting to swell up a little bit now too. So
it is.
In a way, we're getting some of the best shit ever. Potentially, I think.
I agree.
Like we're at the grassroots of that.
Well, because I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to Original Hate. Right?
Yeah, that was a good one. It's funny you say that. I was watching a Neanderthal documentary night before last because I was going to watch this, but I was like, oh, I only got an hour. It's like fucking 2 a.m. I don't like staying up past 3.
Yeah.
Because that's a witching hour.
Oh, you're like
my
mom.
I put one of those. It's just if I'm going to stay up till 3, I'll stay up till 4 and go to bed then. So I put one of those on. But Original Hate, I'd love to see that as a movie, man. It was really cool. I think Bancroft actually came upon some art from that they were auctioning off on one of his Wheel of giveaway shows. It was either him or Rob Arnold. I was like, oh, they got some fucking Original Hate, Ben Templesmith art. But a lot of people were like, what the fuck is that? I don't know, no fucking Original Hate. What the fuck is that? Like they didn't know what it was,
Right,
but I knew, and I was just like, oh, I have that book. It looks fucking dope. I like his scratchy fucking punk, gritty, like metal, like style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it
sloppy.
works perfectly, like real sloppy, real sketchy, real scratchy. It works perfect for that. It puts you in that universe.
It makes the violence more visceral.
Yeah, totally. Right. Like a lot of those artists too, like we're talking horror, but I mean like those horror artists, that are in comics. Another one's Damian Worm. He was working with Steve Nile a lot. Some of his stuff is
really
pretty
good.
Cool. A lot of filters, but weird,
Kyle Holtz, of course. I know you're a fellow Kyle Holtz stan.
Oh yeah, he's like my favorite, dude.
yeah.
Him and Bernie and fucking and Wrightson.
Bernie's the goat.
Frazetta and Wrightson.
Yeah, well, as I always say, Frazetta and Wrightson.
Preston.
Well, yeah, oh my God. Oh, dude, I got page 9 of Six Gun Gorilla.
Fuck around
today.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. I have here's the thing. I've been through a real fucking bad time. Shit has been really, really rough. But at the same time, I've been getting blessed with these fucking pages coming in, right? Because Maxi Diallo is illustrating Abraxas, that graphic novel that I'm doing with Adam Lawson. Right? Man. I could officially start talking about that now. Yeah. And also there's a short story that I wrote for the Finch character for the next Kill Journal.
Nice.
I've been getting pages from that too.
Yeah, I love his art, man. Full energy. He's an energy guy, Donald DeLay, Heron, Daniel Warren Johnson. He's one of those guys that kind of, I love that style too. That's
his illustrations move.
They move. They're full of energy. They're kinetic. I love that house, dude. Like the whole, just all the little things he put in there, in the thing you showed me.
Yeah,
I love that poster right there too.
Yeah,
that one right there.
Yeah, this is for the recent Blu-ray release. This is obviously the Spanish poster.
Kind of basic,
La Secta del. Yeah, no, this is a fucking Photoshop job. They probably did throw this together really quick because it looks like this was for the Sitges Festival. Sitges is the fantastic cinema con film festival, right? That's where everybody goes. Specifically, it's for science fiction, fantasy, horror films.
That's dope. I love these nautical horror stories, man. This one looks like it's it makes it look like Indiana Jones, this or fucking Clash of Titans, some big epic. You know what I mean? This would sell the motherfucker. You know what I mean? Just by the look of how good it is.
Right. This might get a butts and seats without being deceitful. Right, but it does make it look more like an adventure film, and this is a fucking balls out horror movie. It's ferocious. Oh, check this out. This is work for this is a piece that Preston did for the upcoming Blood Hunt Doc Salem crossover.
Can't wait, man. Love those characters, man.
And Vincent from Blood Hunt and Doc Salem from Book of the same name. Guess where they're going? They're going to Innsmouth.
Oh shit!
And they're not just going to Innsmouth; they're going to the city. They're going to Dagon City because Preston killed Dagon. Or I should say, Doc Salem killed Dagon at the beginning of Doc Salem 1.
Where's
right?
Preston, dude? That fool should be here right now.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Nah, he's busy. He's fucking. He's got his head down, dude. Working.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. And managed to get some FaceTime with him the other day, and there's a bunch of shit that we're gonna be working on.
He just
a
always
bunch
like,
of shit.
Oh, I haven't seen you. Oh, this is what. Like he just busts out all this stuff, like this epic shit, next level type shit.
Like, where's Preston been? Like behind you, boom, and he just suddenly just dumps all this stuff on you. But I mean, it's really fantastic, just because he is blowing up and becoming the rock star that we always knew he was. But it's just like to see him also evolve, where I don't look at his shit and I go, oh, that's so Frazetta. I don't go, oh, that's so Bisley. I think, oh, that's so Preston.
Yeah,
he really
totally.
has really self-actualized.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude.
ID's asking for the link.
Who?
ID.
Oh, ID. Oh, yeah. I should drop that shit in the chat. Hold on.
I got you.
You got me? Okay. Thanks. I appreciate that, man.
I love the whole like nautical horror subgenre. What up, Phil?
Excellent. Oh, well, we look forward to that for sure. For sure. But yeah, this is Preston's version of the Deep Ones. And yes, tonight's movie Dagon is about Innsmouth, the home of the Deep Ones. Who are the Deep Ones, you ask? The Deep Ones are these fish-like humanoids that live in a city beneath the sea, right? And they worship Dagon, who is an actual entity like Cthulhu, right? Leathery, rubbery, basically looks kind of like, well, Preston drew him with tentacles on his face, right?
That's how he kind of looked like in the movie. Like you just see him for a split second, It looks like it looks like they took like their own, conceptualization for it, right? For this movie.
And one of the things that just blows my mind that I just love to bits is looking at, the Lovecraft art that's out there is exceptional.
Yeah.
And this is what I really like. These are works of art that I found to give to Preston and Sim for like reference.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Right? I was like, check this out, but if you do a search, oh, what up, Dave? Good to see you, brother, man. How you doing?
I watched today. I know I'm like a hit or miss when it comes to these things, but as the calendar and fate had it out, I was able to actually watch today, and I got about maybe 30 or 45 minutes with you guys. So
okay, all right.
Schedules are what they are.
Yeah, no, we're glad that you tuned in. What did you think about tonight's movie?
I was surprised that it was not just a collection of moments of brilliance, but as a whole, pretty good movie.
Yes.
There's a couple of, that's a fake hand thing, but that's usually the kind of stuff that you look out for when you know to look for it. The special effects were good. I tell you honestly, the whole feel of the thing was, this is the team that did the Reanimator.
Yes.
Right.
And From Beyond. So they had done two direct Lovecraft adaptations.
Right.
Then they did Castle Freak,
right,
which isn't Lovecraft,
right,
but could have been written by Lovecraft, like early Lovecraft, before he created the Cthulhu mythos. That was the kind of story that he wrote.
When I finished watching Reanimator as a kid, I remember having this distinct feeling that I probably saw something that I wasn't supposed to see.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just like the hair put on the back of your neck or anything like that. It was just like something weird got into your spinal fluid and it's never going to leave.
Yes.
That kind of feeling.
Yes. And
now, I'm not going to say that I got that feeling from this, but if I had seen it when I saw Reanimator, it probably would have got there a little bit.
Well,
there was that whole like impending doom of, these aren't human.
This is what they're going to do to you. They're going to skin you alive.
Yeah, it's like the rain. That's just, it was like, oh my God, it's raining and it's depressing and everything is wet and nasty.
This is that's one of the things that I would say that instantly one of the first things that you need to say about this movie is that it's a very moist film.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you see it coming, like that cloud that comes over the. I rewound that a couple of times because I was, like Matt, I'm working on something on this here while I'm watching it over here, and I'm like, ooh, that cloud doesn't look like a storm. That looks like somebody exhaled 5 years of cigar smoke onto a city.
Yeah, it's pretty brown.
It's coming at you like real nasty and whatever. And
yeah, the brown.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm watching this. This chick picks up his laptop, chucks it into the ocean, and this is where we roll credits because now I'm the killer.
Yeah, right.
You just don't do that. Like,
all
right,
dude,
over, everything's over.
Dude,
yeah.
If you're not spending your time, if you're fucking around with your computer instead of fucking around with her, you deserve to have all your shit fucking tossed.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
There's those
then I have no
arguments.
fucking sympathy for you because
there's those two arguments. If he's got his shit straight and he knows that he can pay for all this, then shut off the computer. But if he's in the middle of paying for all this, then you need the computer to make sure that you can pay for all this.
Right. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that we do need to establish, right? This is a very moist film. Also,
you keep saying that word.
The fucking girlfriend in this, Barbara, is smoking fucking hot.
And she's not in it for most of it.
Caliente.
Yeah. No, actually, not to be
fucking super hot fucking
she's
Spanish
definitely
chick,
the hotter one.
No tan lines. Yeah,
she's definitely the hotter one, but both girls have their moments until the tentacles come out.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. The other woman, the woman of his dreams,
one that you see first. Yeah.
The woman of his dreams.
Right.
Right, because I have to say, I really love the opening credits of this because it really does have that Lovecraftian feel.
Yeah, it sets it up for the epic scale of what it could be,
Yes. And so what is down there? That's the city of the Deep Ones. And who are the Deep Ones? Like I said, they're like basically aquatic fishmen. Thinks the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Right. But didn't they feel like they kind of paid homage to that creature near the end of the film, near the climax?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the first time that you saw one of the Deep Ones on screen, really.
And then Tubi wants to play a film called The Deep Ones right after this.
Well, that's the thing. There's so much Lovecraft art out there now, and there's also, there's literally hundreds of horror movies coming out every year. Because anybody with a camera can make a horror movie now, which is simultaneously awesome and awful. It's awesome because of that, and there's always going to be a diamond in the rough, right?
You have to waste a lot of time in order to see that diamond.
Well, that's the thing. My friend Chris, by the way, homie, if you're listening, much love to you. Like he always says, we're going to know what to watch. That's coming out right now. We're going to know what to watch in like 15 years from now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's going to be a filtering process.
Exactly, because it's too much. It used to be that, if you were a horror fan, you could conceivably watch everything.
Right.
That is not even remotely possible. You would literally need like multiple fucking lives for that shit. Oh, yeah, that's right. Brian Yuzna produced this. Brian Yuzna, the producer of the previous... No, I don't think he produced Castle Freak, but he produced, I think, Bride of Reanimator, which is not a Stuart Gordon movie. Here's the thing about Brian Yuzna movies. His movies are always fucked up in some way, shape, or form. And this is actually when he started working with Spanish... production companies, because that's one of the things that's interesting about this movie. They had tried to get this made decades before, right? Or a decade before, I should say. There was even a Cinema Fantastique issue that was dedicated do that unmade movie, which was basically Stuart Gordon's The Shadow Over Innsmouth. Why did they change the title to Dagon? Basically because it's a better I guess they thought The Shadow Over Innsmouth was like too much of like a tongue twister or something like that, and the Dagon was a better horror movie title. I can't necessarily disagree. Lovecraft was somebody who was very in tune with his dream life, and he was obsessed with his dreams, and had his character Randolph Carter, who is like this great dreamer who goes to other worlds. The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, that's a novel that Lovecraft, an unpublished novel that Lovecraft left behind. But yes, this is not fanciful.
No, that's the thing.
This is a genuinely Shadow Over Innsmouth is a genuinely sinister story. It really produces a sense of creeping dread, and
I was going to say that it's got a zombie effect that a lot of zombie movies can't even do. Which is no matter where you go, it doesn't matter.
They're
you know what I mean? Like
they're everywhere.
Exactly, and it's that whole like realization, like you don't realize it until you're in the middle of it, and then you're like, oh, I get it now. I'm surrounded.
I'm fucked. I'm
right.
fucked.
Yeah.
Right. Because here's the thing about the original story. The original story has a lot of action in it. It's largely a chase story. And that is pretty much the entire second act of this movie. The heroes being chased. Right? But yes, he is.
He's got a decent arc, though. He's not like he starts off as a can't do anything, can't sail. You know what I mean? Like kind
of like Ash, dude.
Not
exactly
reminded me of a man's man or anything like that, but
until he's pushed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's
and you end up cheering for him. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and you see this in real life too. You have people that are cowards, but if they're pushed into a situation, they can fucking rise to the occasion.
Yeah, that can do a corner thing.
Yes, the same way, many a hero then becomes a coward, right? Which is basically what we saw in Cube, right?
Yeah,
with a cop, right? That was his arc. But yeah, he is. Trying to remember the name of this actor.
When the Sci-Fi Channel was trying.
Yeah, there are some special effects in this that visual effects that are very, very dated Sci-Fi Channel quality.
They
but
are.
There's not enough to really hurt the film.
No.
This right here.
Yes.
Okay, like this where you're like underwater and they're trying to communicate so many things.
Right.
That you're underwater, that the color is muted, but we want them to see the blood, and we want them you can tell it looks, this shot right here, you can tell it looks fake because it's got that like the waviness around the one side of the boat is too much, but they were trying. You can tell they wanted it to look good, even though they couldn't. Who knows what it was? Deadline, money, whatever. But I liked this shot.
Yes,
I couldn't help it. Yeah.
Well, it's eerie, right? And
it is. They're trying to do a few things at once, and they're it's like they're trying to land a Harrier. It's very hard to do. And I was just like, I like this shot. I don't care what anybody thinks.
Right. And certainly those little bits don't really damage.
Not at all.
Right? They don't damage the film the way that the special effects in Escape from L.A.
You're right. Because that's a big budget and they should have been better.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You realize you're watching like a Brian Yuzna, Stuart Gordon movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Gordon almost directed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He actually wrote the screenplay for that. And was going to direct it, but then the budget suddenly, like a big studio discovered it. Like, we're just like, oh, we can make this a really big, huge movie. Oh, by the way, you're not directing anymore.
That's odd. Because when you look at it on paper, why would a studio just gravitate towards that?
Because he was the guy who directed Reanimator.
No. I don't.
You want to make
that.
a family
like
kids movie,
director, but I mean like the studio. Because when I remember seeing it as a trailer, I'm like,
it happens a lot actually.
I mean, it's a good movie. I've seen it and I liked it, but on paper, I'd have been like, I would have run the other direction. But what do I know?
What up, Keith? What up, comic book?
What's up, Keith?
Yeah, Keith,
I like how they have different colors on their clothing. It makes them pop out a little more. He's like in orange and she's in the yellow.
Yeah, their
to, like,
clothing is the color of hope. It'll get dirtier later.
Can't look, man. He really is.
Dude,
I love the Miskatonic
Ash a lot, dude. Ash Williams a lot. Like, obviously, he doesn't have the chainsaw and all that shit, but his art kind of from the first movie into the third one, he kind of goes there in this one, And
the Miskatonic on the sweatshirt is a nice Easter egg. It's in your face too.
It is. I'm saying, if you are like a really hardcore horror nerd, and have been like your entire life, the odds are you own a Miskatonic University T-shirt of some kind.
You're just saying that because you own a Miskatonic sweatshirt of some kind.
Of course. What are you fucking kidding me? They used to be hard to find. Now you see them everywhere, right? Miskatonic U. Good old Miskatonic U. Miskatonic University, of course, one of Lovecraft's creations. Not a real place. Sounds like a real place.
Yes,
he was great at that, right? Like Arkham, Massachusetts is where scenic Arkham, Massachusetts is where Miskatonic is located. He was one of those guys that was really great at creating fake things that sounded real. He was an absolute master of that. When he quoted from the Necronomicon, people really thought that the Necronomicon was a real book.
Yeah.
And needed to be convinced that it was fiction. And Lovecraft went out of his way. It's like, no, I'm telling you, I just made that shit up. I didn't pull that up. It's like, that's not real. Unaussprechlichen Kulten. That's the by von Jutz. That's also a fake book.
This is the part where I try to keep myself from going, you mean the Necronomicon isn't real?
You mean the movie lied?
It's all a lie.
Yeah, he was a master at making you think that these were real places, that these were
all
real
that money
books.
I spent on the Necronomicon, the real Necronomicon, and I got taken.
Well, Colin Wilson and I forget who else, of course, published a version. I got a paperback version over there. Of course, the only real copies of the Necronomicon, I think there's one under lock and key at the Miskatonic University Library. Wilbur Whately actually gets killed trying to steal that in the Dunwich Horror. But we're not going to get into we're talking about Shadow Over Innsmouth tonight. But yeah, Lovecraft was one of those guys, like Tolkien, like Robert E. Howard, a world builder.
There would not ever be a Clive Barker without H.P. Lovecraft, for sure.
There would be no Clive Barker.
Absolutely
there would be
none.
No Stephen King. There would be no Ramsey Campbell.
Well, there would be a Stephen King. It would just be that one scene in it. He would be writing a whole other genre of fiction. That would be it.
Wouldn't have that big turtle.
And here's the thing. Now Lovecraft is famous for being a racist, right?
Yeah, racist.
Is
he? Was he? Abso-motherfucking-lutely. I've read his letters.
Yeah, I've read him some
Abso-motherfucking-lutely. Was he more racist than his neighbors? You have to understand. I'm not making excuses here. You can't tell me somebody being a racist idiot. It's like saying stupid racist shit in 1920, early 1910s. Is the same as somebody saying stupid racist shit now 100 years later.
Was he a racist? Yes. Was everybody back then?
Pretty much.
Was it wrong?
Yes. Am I making excuses? No.
No, of course not. Dude,
but
freaking Von Dutch.
Society then. That's
Von Dutch was
yes.
Von Dutch was racist. Von Dutch was
dude.
But he's still the father of pinstripe art. Nobody can do anything about that.
And
it's over now. We're better people.
So I have a social justice warrior friend, ex-friend, who is because
everybody has a social justice warrior ex-friend.
Well, here's the I've got a lot. I've got more than many, right? And this is a dude who is a race hustler, right? And he writes on his blog that
think about it. Which is worse, a racist or a race hustler? At least the racist is honest.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I actually could kind of respect him and could still hang with him if he was like, the whole like race thing. Yeah, that's just a grift.
Yeah, by the way, this is all for money. Yeah.
Yes. Then I would be like, cool. We can still hang out. I think what you're doing is kind of greasy, but whatever. You're taking advantage of the system.
I'll buy you a beer, but it'll be a Bud Light.
Right. Well, man. I mean, look.
I know. I like pops, man. I got layers.
You can't call that shit beer for one thing, right?
No,
right? It's like what's killing them is the fact that their fucking beer tastes like shit, and now people don't have to drink that shit anymore because Americans.
They're like, I'm free.
Americans finally discovered good beer.
Yeah.
Right? I had relatives from Germany. They'd come over here, and they would there were three things that freaked them out. One was the nightly news. They were just like, they would call it like Mickey Mouse news. Like, what the fuck is wrong with your news media? And the second thing was chocolate. Why is it's just like your chocolate sucks. Oh, and coffee too. Yeah, they'd be like you guys drink dishwater.
Yeah,
and you drink piss.
Have you ever heard that
Budweiser? Do you call that beer? No fucking way. Americans have discovered all of those things now. So how are you going to sell fucking Bud Light or Coors Light or any of that urine when you have like genuinely good beer, like literally right next to it in any supermarket in the country?
You've heard that. You've heard that joke. How is drinking American beer like having sex in a canoe?
No, I don't know. How is drinking American beer like having sex in a canoe?
It's fucking close to water.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's shit.
Oh my
God. So it's just like
I'm killing.
You are. Hang on. You're almost ready for the borscht belt.
I hope somebody's clipping.
He's got a million of them, people.
I really do. I hope somebody's clipping this shit.
Man. I don't.
So Comic Book Bob says
I said something about how at least racists are honest. I know that's going to come back to haunt you.
Oh yeah. Well, a good thing I already fucking canceled my own ass. Comic Book Bob says Innsmouth is the most cinematic of Lovecraft. I agree.
You're just going to rewind.
Here you go. You've been canceled. Here you go. You're done. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Being canceled is a participatory thing. You have to participate in that. Yeah, I refuse.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to believe there's a monster under the bed before the monster can get you.
Yes, right. we live in separate universes. But anyway, my point with my race hustler friend is that he really he wrote like this big angry essay because they had installed after a Kickstarter campaign this beautiful bust of Lovecraft in the Providence Library, right? Because really there should be a statue of him there, right? With "I am Providence" written on the bottom. I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
He's easily the most famous person to ever come from Providence. And my friend writes this angry essay. He's like, what Lovecraft will be remembered for is being racist. Not for The Shadow Over Innsmouth, not for The Call of Cthulhu, not for The Outsider, not for The Case of Charles Dexter Ward, not for any of the fucking groundbreaking horror stories that he wrote that you can see the influence of everywhere in our culture nowadays.
You're right. He's a foundational author that a lot of people write his way.
On the level of Tolkien.
I love that. No, I'm not going to remember him for that, but I'm always going to remember you for pointing that out.
I do have a statement. I do have a statement or response to American beer too.
Yes. Yeah.
Wobble wobble.
Tequila. That's actually really good tequila.
This is what I add to American beer to make it taste like real beer.
Oh, we just shoot that. We don't need Cabo is so smooth. You don't even gotta chase it.
Yeah.
It is. I love.
Is that a tequila?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Sammy Hagart's owns it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He used to. Now he has the rum.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Beach. I can't remember the name of it now.
Beach Bum
Rum or something.
Yeah.
What did Ron Jeremy have? Did he have like a vodka?
Oh my God! I am not drinking anything that's got
Ron
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
It's gonna be, if you can't see through it, it's got Ron Jeremy's name on it.
Yeah, boy. All roads lead to Ron Jeremy, as we know. That's just a fucking fact of life.
I don't want to know what Ron Jeremy puts his name on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Ron Jeremy's. What is it going to be? It's going to be like some kind of a Irish cream, but it's going to be Ron Jeremy's Irish cream.
I know it's called Ron to Jeremy. Cream. I don't know what it is though. Real quick, let's take a look at the trailer for tonight's movie, Dagon. And yeah, I have to stop it periodically because YouTube's a bitch.
Doggone.
Dagon? Is that was that like a dong joke?
No, it's just these doggone Dagons.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. Let me walk right into that.
Is it Zulu or is it Cthulhu? Ramsey Campbell, as I said, British author whose early work reads like most artists start out by imitating other artists, right? And that's perfect. You have to, right?
You have to establish, a rule base for yourself.
Exactly.
Somebody has to hold your bicycle seat.
And Neil Gaiman is a fucking bitch, but I agree with him when he says that the reason why Lovecraft is so easy to parody, it's very easy to parody his style, is because it's so distinctive and one of a kind. Now, Stuart Gordon, trying to think what else people might know him for besides his Lovecraft movies. He also did a really great futuristic prison movie called Fortress.
Oh, is that the one with Christopher Lambert?
Yes. That movie's dope. He also did Space Truckers, which is really good.
Space Truckers.
I was gonna watch that.
That's Dennis Hopper and the kid from
Blade.
He was Blade. What's his name now?
And Debbie Mazar and Charles Dance is the villain. I love the music, right? Because it's and I know other people have done this, right? Because Lovecraft has inspired composers, sculptors, painters. Like I said, if you go online, the amount of like folk art built around Lovecraft is just
massive. This never ends. The Cthulhu, my God, everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. It's like even normies know who Cthulhu is now.
Yeah, even Metallica.
Yep. Well, that's because of Cliff Burton. Yeah. Was it Ia Cthulhu Fatan?
We will live for eternity.
Pretty good trailer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks pretty dope. It almost looks like a Guillermo del Toro movie, like back when he was doing like Chronos, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Or Mimic. They had like those early 90s effects, you know?
Man, Mimic was so badass.
Yeah, it was pretty dope, dude. Like that one scene where he's standing up in the rain.
It's one of those awesome movies that was just totally plagued by bad sequels.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought 3 was okay. I
couldn't get it. I couldn't, like, after I got in the first 5 mintes of the second one, I was like, oh, this is never coming back.
Oh, the second one's pretty bad. But the third one's actually surprisingly good. That does happen sometimes.
I'm gonna have
like
to get
the Children
into
of the Corn movies, for instance.
You're right.
There's yeah. Like I think my favorite one of those is like the 5th or the 6th or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. What up, Sim?
Wow.
What up, Simon? You sexy motherfucker. Sim, yeah, definitely. If you haven't seen this movie, well, one thing's for sure. I know that when it's time for Sim and Preston to bust out Blood Hunt Doc Salem, they're gonna have to sit down and fucking watch this movie.
Yeah, this movie was fucking badass, dude. This is a hard recommend. It was so
Right?
original. You know what I mean?
I was honestly surprised at how much I liked this.
Yeah, and it
wasn't just a collection of brilliant moments. It was actually put together really well.
Right?
Yeah. It's like in the intro, man, where you see the lady, you know, bites him, you know, and he wakes up, and just right off the bat, you already know this shit's fucked up as soon as you get like right on the shore when this part happens. You see that.
Well, even though like the girl is missing through so much of the movie, I was like, mad respect. They got rid of the hot girl and they don't even care.
Right.
And they had me.
Because this movie is like the original story, out to get you. Now, is this movie as terrifying as something like Night of the Living Dead or Texas Chainsaw Massacre? No,
but it's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be, but it really does build and sustain a real level of dread. Now, the moving the location from New England to Spain.
That's what I was thinking. Is that? I had a feeling like, isn't he based like in New England, like? You know, yes. Stephen King. That was another jock Stephen King did. He usually does Derry or fucking.
He's always in Castle Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's this is usually on Providence, right? Or even New England, for his tales.
Well, New England, right?
In general.
Yeah, I mean there are like there's a building that's still standing that is the location of Dreams in the Witch House, which is like a classic Lovecraft story. But most of his shit takes place in parts of New England that don't exist. But right, so there is no Arkham, Massachusetts, which means, of course, there's no Arkham Asylum, and there is no Innsmouth. These are places that he just completely made up. Now, would they have made this if they could have in America and New England? Of course. Logistically, it was just never going to work, right? But they managed to do it with their connections, or Brian Yuzna's connection to the Spanish movie industry. In fact, Brian Yuzna directed a movie called Rottweiler, starring Paul Naschy. Right, it actually has like Wolfman. The great Spanish Lon Chaney in the movie. So there was a point in his career where he was like collaborating with Spain, the same way that Charles Band would shoot shit in Romania, right? Which is to say, like, you know, producers there, they're gonna hook them up with everything they need. So everything they need to make the film and to make it on a relatively small budget.
I think putting it there too kind of makes it. I mean, obviously it's not, you know, canon, but putting it in Spain or Portugal, it kind of gives it more of an old world, other world as well feel to it. They're speaking with accents over, and then if you're going to put it in 1910, you know, East Coast, New England, they're going to talk a little different. Their mannerisms are going to be a little different. You know, for me, like,
not just
again,
that,
I haven't read it, but there's so many things that just change that. Both could be equally as good. I really like seeing it here too, and also the architecture changes when you go to England, or I'm sorry, when you go over to Europe, it's going to be could be a multitude of things depending on what part of the Mediterranean it's at. You know, it's going to change the architecture. It's going to be a little more Gothic.
So the original story would have been set when?
Probably the 20s, right?
Right. Most of Lovecraft's stories took place in what was then the modern day, which is like the 1920s.
Right. So if they're going to redo it again in the modern day here, then they're going to have to put it someplace where an American isn't going to know what to do.
Well, the movie that Guillermo has been trying to make for like the last
Mountains of Madness?
20 or 30, for the last 20 or 30 years is in the, and it's his dream project is in the mouth I'm sorry, at the Mountains of Madness. Now,
you mean Brokeback Mountain?
No.
No, my bad.
Hey man, cowboy was actually like an anti-gay slur. If you that's the when people were complaining about that story, or complaining about the movie, which is based on a short story by Larry McMurtry, one of the great Western writers, right? Yes,
Right.
There was a lot of gay shit going on between cowboys. Get over it. Right?
Hey, I just remember when it came to sheep herders, the excuse was, I'm just helping it over the fence.
Oh, man. Can you imagine being on a fucking trail like for 6 months with nothing but dudes?
Oh, by the way, this will probably get your channel canceled, but I want to wish everybody a very, very happy Monkeypox Awareness Month.
Monkeypox Awareness. I didn't realize that was a thing. But yeah, in the Mouth of Madness is a combination of the titles At the Mountains of Madness and The Shadow Over Innsmouth.
Right.
Innsmouth, like I said, very obvious in the mouth, right?
Innsmouth, right.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way that, here's the thing, it's an incredibly atmospheric short story, and this is a really admirable adaptation. It really, obviously can't set it in the 1920s. Like I said, Guillermo del Toro can't get At the Mountains of Madness made. There was no way that they were going to be able to make this in Hollywood.
Yeah.
On the budget that they had.
I think it also too, like the story could lend itself. Like you could make this in a fishing village in Norway, and it could still be dope. Like it could be, Dagon.
Here's the thing about Innsmouth.
Sure.
Here's the thing about Innsmouth,
I've seen it done in a Hellboy cartoon. A similar thing. It was a Kraken though, but it very, very similar.
Right. And here's the thing. It's established in Lovecraft's story that this is not the only Innsmouth. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. That makes sense.
There are other ones.
Yeah, right.
Right? All throughout the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not like the deep ones, because here's the thing too about the deep ones, they're terrestrial. They don't come from another dimension, and they don't come from outer space like a lot of other Lovecraft's monsters. They're just here.
All that water, man.
Yes. If you haven't seen it yet, Underwater is a really good movie. That's with Vincent Cassel and
that's the thief from that second Oceans movie. Isn't he that one of the characters?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Irreversible, isn't he the one that gets his arm broke?
I think so.
He's in Brotherhood of the Wolf. He's like the main villain, and he's also in Eastern Promises. He's the main Russian bad guy that the spoiled Russian KGB kid.
Sim right now is screaming, Doberman!
Vincent Cassel, wasn't he? Wait, maybe I'm wrong. He's not the husband in.
He's in Beauty and the Beast too. He also
the Beauty and the Beast. The French
that was a fun one.
Yeah, I was disappointed by it, but it's
better than the
watchable.
Disney
It's
one.
not bad. Yeah, no, it's not a bad movie. Oh, for sure. Oh, well, I won't even.
Yeah, I
don't
got him.
fuck with Disney.
Yeah, those movies, his movies have like some weird kind of CGI in them too, kind of like this. It's just at that point.
Right. It's just like Jean Marais and the original Jean Cocteau Beauty and the Beast, which is the definitive version of that fucking story. The definitive cinematic version of that story. The fucking makeup on the Beast is fucking incredible, and it was all done by hand. That entire movie was crafted by hand by Cocteau himself. He actually did the fucking makeup, believe it or not. And it's one of the great fantasy slash horror makeups for sure. So yeah, these two get into a yacht wreck. And their friends are one of them, her leg is stuck, so they have to go to the shore. And homeboy,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but the way they got her leg stuck made it actually look more excruciating than normal, because they had a piece of rock sticking up through the boat.
Yes.
And then her leg was pinned between the hull of the boat and the rock.
Yes.
So while I'm watching that, I'm going.
Yeah.
Every time the water moves, she's going through shit, like total agony. Exactly. I was like, just that one little detail. Maybe they didn't even do it on purpose, but
yes,
there it was. It's like, okay, now you probably could get your leg out if the boat rocks just the right way, but the entire time that's happening, it's boat against the rock, and your leg is in between, and
absolutely,
yikes.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Because great minds think alike, Brian.
Yes, but also that's Stuart Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Stuart Gordon was one of the great fantasy horror filmmakers, right? One of the great horror filmmakers, one of the great fantasy filmmakers, in my opinion. He died a couple years back, which is really, really sad.
3 years ago.
Yeah, because he wasn't that old. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I met the writer, the guy who wrote all of these movies at an Alamo Drafthouse screening of Reanimator.
Nice.
Dennis Paoli, really fucking nice guy. Had a really nice chat with him. He's a professor of English literature,
Nice.
special at NYU, specializing in Gothic literature. Guess what I specialized in when I was going to uni. Same thing. So we had a nice conversation. Really, really cool. Very, very humble guy. Is kind of like, amused to have these movies like in his credits. He and Stuart Gordon were friends back when Stuart Gordon was involved in the theater. Stuart Gordon was directing plays written by David Mamet, right?
Wow.
He came from that theater scene.
Seriously.
Yes.
Dude, that's a heavy hitter. That dude is swinging 2 bats in the on-deck circle before he goes to make anything.
Absolutely. But he decided, it's, you know what it is? I think that success can be an artist's enemy sometimes. That is to say, if you're successful at something, then you're just going to want to just do that. But here's the thing. He took a deep dive into the horror genre. Starting with Castle Freak, you're just like, oh, he's taking this shit seriously now.
Yeah.
And both of them are. And, it's not that there's no humor in this movie. There is. But none of it's goofy. It all arises from the situations.
It's absurd. There's a difference between it being absurd and it being some sort of a comic relief.
Right.
You're laughing about it because it's macabre.
Right.
Yeah. And I can't believe this shit is happening. I've run out of emotional reaction, and the only thing left to do is laugh.
Like the room, like he's finding everything in the room, how it is. And then I hate to be like one of the fish people in this movie. They can't blink, right?
Yeah. This is one of my favorite moments in the film is when he's dealing with the hotel clerk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he goes into this hotel, and it is the hotel out of the short story. Right. Starting here is where it becomes very faithful to the source material. Right. So took a different route to get there. But it's the second act of the movie that is kind of the point, right? And it is largely one long chase scene.
It's dope.
But yeah, there's a great moment where our hero here has his girlfriend's Zippo, and he's just like running the flame in front of this dude's eyes, and he doesn't blink, and then he just starts blinking himself. He's just
doesn't he? But does the fish guy? Is he follow the flame? Is he attracted to it?
No,
it's not one of those. Because I thought for a second he was just like looking at the light. I was like, I remember bullying for crawfish in Key West, and that was the whole way that you got him was by sticking a flashlight in the water so that, yeah. Oh, and there it is.
Yeah,
there's the water world. There's the water world gills.
Yep, and he's got gills. Now, what the humor that you mentioned, I'm telling you, if you've never read Lovecraft, that's exactly the kind of laughter that his work evokes. And because even though his stories aren't meant to be funny, they frequently are. But they never become less scary because of it. Because of his balls out conviction. And how serious he was with his storytelling. Right. This is a great moment where he bumps into like the head of a giant fish.
It's a TGIF thing that they stick on the wall. It goes right next to the moose head and the kayak.
It sings and flops around if
right.
As long as it has its back.
Oh yeah, and awesome. Then, like he goes into the bathroom. I'm like, I remember this scene from the canal.
He goes into the worst hotel room in the fucking world.
Yeah.
It's totally comical.
Black mold on the bed and shit.
There's the windows are busted. You can smell the dampness in this place. You can smell the dampness throughout this entire movie.
Imagine if they actually found this place. Like they're scoping out for places to
shoot. What?
And the director sees it and he's like, this is amazing. so much money in the budget just got, like, we don't have to create anything like this. Now it's here.
Right.
This is actually kind of what I would actually take a, basically make take a little bit of a leap here and say that this is actually worse than the bathroom at CBGB.
See,
I'm so happy I never had to drop a deuce at CBGB. That bathroom was fucking vile. But yeah, it's just like everything is just fucking rust stained. The water comes out green, and then there's like black
train
mold.
spotting where they actually label it as the dirtiest bathroom in Scotland.
Yes, yeah, it's hilarious.
Remember this bar that back in the day that we'd go to and play shows at, people would just kick the door open and piss in the hallway. It's so bad. That bar was pretty bad.
Oh, that's debased. That shit's debased.
I know, but haven't we all been there?
Yes.
Who among us, right?
Yes, we have. So he has like another vision of this girl that keeps appearing in his dreams, right? And so this is another one of the not so great effects. The jump scare at the beginning with the fangs was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
This one doesn't land, but because of the quality of the crappy CGI, once again, doesn't ruin the film. So Paul discovers very quickly that this isn't really a real
dream, so it doesn't
room
matter.
or a real hotel.
It's possible to get bad special effects in a dream.
Yes. There you go. Right. It's just his fucked up imagination. Or lack thereof. So he quickly discovers he's been just put in this room to be held while they fucking surround him. Because they're oh, who dat?
That's Pops.
Somebody's talking to you, Brian.
Who dat?
Oh yeah.
What?
Ow!
Tell him. No, tell him, not me.
He said hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Oh man.
Hey, does he let you cut his nails, Pops?
We don't have to. He runs that shit off.
Oh man. All right. That means I got to get out more.
That's a chatty breed. It's a chatty breed. But I love like chatty cats, so chatty dogs are perfectly fine with me.
You said you're chatty. Are you chatty?
Yep.
Yeah, see, he denies everything. He denies everything.
I don't know what you're saying.
He's like, are you chatty? Like, no. And I'll tell you why. How much time have you got?
He came back. He's got something to say. What?
Yeah. Oh,
He's leaving again. Oh.
He's highly opinionated.
He's out.
He's like, oh, fucking, I'm done with this.
We've been trying to cut Bear's nails, and it took two trazodone and my best wrestling moves to do it.
Oh no!
We only got 1.5 paws. You know,
the pit bull doesn't like it, but Rocky just runs it off. His stay pretty short because of the amount of running he does.
Yeah, I got to get out of the house. I'm just gonna have to let him off the leash, run up and down the street until he's tired and whatever. Anyways, I don't want to. I thought maybe you had a secret. I ask everybody that, and everybody with a dog, do they let you cut his nails? Because not this guy.
Just let him run. It'll wear him right down, dude.
Right. So this whole sequence right here, this is taken right from the short story. It happens exactly like this. The hotel room is laid out exactly like this with the doors and how he has the deadbolt is missing on this door. So he has to unscrew the deadbolt from another door and screw it into place on that door. All of this shit is taken.
Losing the screw and finding it under his chin, that they bothered to do that thing was like, oh shit. And then, because it's happened to everybody.
Yes. So the chase is on, and then he runs into this old man who's played by Francesco Rabal. Francisco Rabal. Francisco Rabal, if you're a horror movie fan, you probably know him from quite a lot of movies, actually, but probably best known for Nightmare City, which is, people call it a zombie movie. Technically, it's not. They're actually not zombies, but they're like blood drinkers. So there's really sort of like vampires, and they're quick. They hustle, right? It's the first fast zombie movie, basically. And he plays the old man in this
very effectively too. I mean,
he's wonderful.
I really like that character.
Oh, yeah. No, he is really, really wonderful in this. It's his last performance too. He died shortly after they made this. In fact, the movie's dedicated to him.
Right.
And they were just like, great actor, even better human being. You know, evidently, like they liked him very much. But yeah, he's fantastic in this. And this is a character that's from the story. And basically, he's an old man who has been stuck in Innsmouth his entire life. And he knows the whole history of the place. He's still human. He's the last human in Innsmouth. Everybody else, they're fishmen. And the thing about these people is, about the Innsmouthians, they're not deep ones, but they're related to the deep ones. They're hybrids. And let me bring up another clip. Fortunately, this is, I mean, I say fortunately, this is really like an obscure movie. I don't think we have to worry about copyright strikes or any shit like that. But at the same time, don't want to push your luck too damn far. But yeah, here, let's take a look at this. Wait, that's the trailer again. I fucked up. Oh, no, wait a second. Sorry, everybody. I know I'm booming it. Yeah. So, like, when Paul comes around the corner, they're like face to face.
Mm-hmm.
And they just scream at each other. I was like, ah! Right? So this is, for instance, a comical moment. But it's over really quick. And so Paul doesn't know if he could trust this guy or not. And I just love this moment where he's got his hands over Francisco Rabal's mouth. And suddenly they see this guy like rolling by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Eddie Murphy's character, the homeless guy on the street.
Yep. So what's happening?
The audio of these bad guys was really cool too, like the noises
wonderful.
And stuff that they made.
Clicks.
It added so much to the movie.
I agree. All the clicking and croaking.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And some of it sounded like dolphin noises.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the clicks. Those are the clicks I'm talking about. Right. So.
Well, yeah. Right.
So what's happening to the Innsmouthians is they start out looking like regular human beings. But as they age, they turn into these monsters, right? And they all do it at different rates. And the people that you see in this are all at different stages of that transformation. So, like the ones that were on the fishing boat, for instance, the guy in the hotel, they're at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And so they could still pass as human.
Right.
Right? Although they have what's known as the Innsmouth look in the story. Like, people talk about it. Man, that town is creepy, right? Because normally it's just like a truck driver. Nobody goes there unless it's like to deliver shit. And the delivery people have stories. And they're like, yeah, I didn't hang out to have a beer, if you know what I'm saying. They're just... The place
priest
has
is the least... The priest just has it like on his hands. I wonder if the collar was keeping him from transforming too fast.
Oh, no. This is Lovecraft. There's no God. There's no God in Lovecraft's universe. Yeah. No. I mean, he was an atheist, and I wouldn't say like a militant one, but he was, he was not very keen on religion. His entire worldview was very bleak and hopeless. And that is something that I think was probably very difficult for him to live with. but boy, it made for some great stories. It made for some great stories. Hey, I'm not saying God can't exist in a world like this. I'm saying he was like,
no, I get you.
You know, that's where he was, where Lovecraft was coming from, and this is very, I have to say,
it's kind of a chicken and an egg thing. You think is it his atheism that made him write like this, or his writing like this that made him an atheist?
Oh no. He was, I think, an atheist at a pretty young age. He was like a prodigy. He started reading at a very, very early age. He definitely had like a genius level IQ, but he was always very divorced from humanity and very, very lonely, solitary childhood.
With his mom, right?
His mother, his father was put in a committed to an insane asylum when he went mad from syphilis.
Oh.
You wonder where Arkham Asylum comes from? That's where Arkham Asylum comes from.
Syphilis will do it every time.
Yep. Back then, yeah, for sure. And his mother used to dress him as a girl. She wanted a daughter, not a son. And so she put him
I can't believe you would bring that up during Pride Month.
And he drank Bud Light. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, bringing it back around, Pops. I like your style.
He would.
Shopping at Target with his Bud Light.
He would, if he were alive today, if he was that age.
My goodness.
He'd be on hormone blockers. His mother would have had him on hormone blockers for sure. Because he used to run around and say, "I'm a little girl." That's
no use for men, adult or child.
Yeah. So young Howard Lovecraft used to run around in a dress saying, "I'm a little girl." You think that might fuck with his head a little bit?
Happens.
There's also a fear of women that you can really feel in his work, and also a fear of sexuality. Now I know, like Freudians, they'll see like a phallic object in anything that's elongated or tubular, that kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying you look at Lovecraft, there's something going on. There's something going on there. One of the images that you keep seeing are people that are human from the waist up. And from the waist down, monsters.
Yeah. Wow. You don't really need a clipboard and wire rim glasses and a chaise lounge to figure this guy out.
Yes. No, you really don't. You really don't. I think he may have been afraid of the punani.
Or
he really
mothers.
didn't like
just
seafood.
Stick with moms.
And here's the thing, ladies. We're not anti-punani here at the Horror Movie Club. We love the punani, but there is something undeniably
a clean one.
Fish, yes. There is something undeniably fishy about the punani. I'm sorry. Look, I had a friend, gay dude. You'd be surprised how many gay dudes have gotten down with women, right?
Yep.
And so I was like, so what was it like when you went down on her? He was just like, I don't know. It looked like a fish creature to me.
I don't eat fish. Yeah, I've seen
right.
That. I've heard that.
It is, ladies, if you're going out on a date with a fella and you want to know if he's into giving oral, order some oysters. Roll oysters off the half shell.
Well,
right?
That's kind
and if he's knocking those fuckers back.
Yeah. Well, no, that's
boom, boom.
Yeah, it's a twofer, because if he is throwing them back, now you get the aphrodisiac effect of the oysters.
Yeah. So honestly,
some crab legs. I'll be yours for the evening. Okay, just buy me some lobster.
I am a seafood fiend. Seafood is my favorite food.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Lovecraft never touched it. He was grossed out by fish, anything fishy, and terrified of the ocean. Right? The fear that's in his stories, they're so fucking effective because the fear that's in there is his fear.
Let me take this one home, Brian. Yeah. He's a pussy.
Well, here's the thing. He was married.
He really likes cats.
He was married. He did get married to a Jewish lady by the name of Sonia Haftgreen. And they divorced but when asked, she said she described him as an adequately excellent lover.
Wait, what? How do you put those two words next to each other and have them mean anything?
I'm just telling you what the lady said. You're
always like you're one or the other. She just threw that out there so that anybody who heard her say that, they can decide for themselves. He was great. He wasn't great. He was adequately excellent.
I don't think that Howard Lovecraft
was like, my fries were crispy, but in a soggy kind of way.
That was all about having like his woman's like legs like over his shoulders. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I don't think he was like into eating the poon.
But I tell you true. I tell you secret.
Now, one of the things
when the way that he starts his exposition out, I love it. I am a boy, and
secret,
and he doesn't. He doesn't give everything. He still leaves enough for the rest of the movie where like, this thing happens and that thing happens.
Now, this scene, when it's written by Lovecraft, this is where he gets clunky in his writing. This is done perfectly in this film, though. See, that's the thing about Lovecraft was he was ultimately an amateur. He wasn't somebody that was as disciplined as a Robert E. Howard, for instance. But you know what? He is these stories that he's left behind are fucking masterpieces. But yeah, in the original story, it's he does this thing where he writes accents, but he writes the words the way that somebody with an accent would say them, and it becomes really distracting.
Yeah, like in a word balloon where Rogue won't say I, she'll say because she's from the South.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you could do that a little bit, but Lovecraft would go overboard with that shit, where it would take like a half an hour to read a fucking sentence sometimes.
Pueblo de Cristo, town of God. I am boy.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely done, right?
Well, not just that, but it's like he doesn't want to tell the story, and he actually has to cross himself because just by putting these words into the air, something bad is going to happen.
Right.
If I let the secret out, then I'm going to be cursed. I'm going to seal my own fate.
Right.
Son of fisherman.
So this is absolutely 100% faithful to the Lovecraft story. You've got a fishing village where their nets are coming in and they're empty. Of course, fishing village, their nets are empty. They're not going to eat.
Right.
So this is catastrophic for them.
But
We got one fish.
He knows it.
Yeah, not if you don't like fish.
Right. No, but also, that's their economy.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I mean, that's the same. It's like when the odd thing is there's two things. First, I know that Dagon is a god from the Old Testament. The Philistines worshipped Dagon.
Yes.
But then there's the miracle of Jesus, the miracle of the fish, the first few disciples. That's just a boat overloading
loaves and
with
miracle
fish.
Of loaves and fishes, yeah.
For whatever his atheistic tendencies are, he's not uneducated. This had to come from somewhere.
Oh, in fact, Lovecraft he never went to college, never went to university, which is a real shame because that's where he belonged.
I mean, like theologically,
he was like, the dude had a genius level IQ for sure, and he was, if nothing else, a scholar. Unfortunately, sometimes he wrote like one too, but
he know one self.
So, their nets are coming in empty, and so they, and the church, what are they going to do? Pray.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the priest tells them. Pray.
Then come Habitat Camparo.
Right. And then, this
Here
goes
comes
on for a
Captain
while. They're not getting, they're not catching any more fish. It's not working. And one day, this guy comes striding in.
This guy reminds me of Captain Quint coming in the jaws.
Exactly. That is exactly what I thought. You are absolutely right, Pops. As soon as he came in, he was like, "I'll catch your fish."
But here's the thing: he looks more like a Russian gangster. Like, it looks more like he's ready to pull out a shiv and go, "Brrr, stick him."
No, it's just like, but to have somebody
He's got a
else
sea coat on.
say
Looks
that,
like
like,
a sailor.
exactly.
Greek sailor hat.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what he looks like. And basically, you're talking, this is set in Spain. Spain, it's like still kind of like in the Mediterranean.
Yep.
He say he know God who bring fish.
Right. So he comes in and he tells the people, I worship a God that will actually answer your prayers.
And more. Priest say no. But Capitan say he bring great God Dagon to invoke.
So these people show, naturally being good Christians, show him the door. Because he's talking some pagan shit.
It's blasphemy to them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's literally blasphemy.
Yeah.
He's like, everybody, we what we should be doing is bowing down and worshiping a monster.
Yeah.
I just love this scene. It's very atmospheric. Remember when we did Messiah of Evil?
Is that the one? Is that the
Evil? The beach scene in that?
Yes.
Is very Lovecraftian, and this definitely evokes some of that. If you'll recall, there's a scene that looks almost exactly like this in Messiah of Evil. I don't know whether this was whether that's intentional or not. I could tell you Stuart Gordon definitely had seen Messiah of Evil. So he has this charm, basically, that he's like throwing into the ocean, and that's a way of basically shooting Dagon like a voice message or a text or something.
It's the horn of Batuma.
Yep. I can still remember the words "Ia, Ia, Cthulhu Fatagan." And by the way, it's one of those things like Ra's al Ghul. It's been established. Like people would ask Lovecraft, "How do I pronounce this? Cthulhu, Thulu?" And he said, basically, it's Cthulhu, but it's the closest we can get to pronouncing his name, but we can't pronounce it properly because our vocal cords aren't
right.
the right kind. So the way that Cthulhu's name is really supposed to be pronounced is kind of like,
yeah,
it's like something like
underwater. Right.
Yeah.
Like Chewbacca and Jabba had a kid, and that's how he talks.
Something like that. Yeah, and like this guy was saying, he prays to a God who actually answers prayers.
Hey guys, I hate to do it, but I actually have to get out of here.
No worries.
I'm glad I got a chance to talk to y'all and finally see. It's a on again, off again. My schedule's wacky, but I did my homework. It was a great movie. I thought it was really good, a lot better than I expected. But I'm glad I got Pops to laugh so hard he actually left the camera. And you're like,
you have that effect on
people. Yeah. I did dip out.
I know.
I did.
Well, what is there not to laugh? Everything's so absurd. You have nothing else to do but laugh, right? But I'm glad I got a chance to hang out with you guys. I gotta go take care of some stuff.
It's always good to see you,
man. Tell Jeff we said hey.
Yeah, I will. In fact, I'm gonna hassle him as soon as I get out of here.
Hassle him for us.
Why. Yeah, exactly. I will. One hassle for each of you, 2 from me. All right, guys. Take it easy.
Peace.
Have a great evening. The rest of your weekend. Talk to you later. Man. All right.
Talk to you later, bro.
Keith, what's up? He says, to be fair, I don't think any authors of that time figured out exposition. Yeah, I mean, there's something. Here's the thing.
It's a talent. It's a skill, I think, sometimes in writing and delivering it well without spoon feeding too much of a big bite.
I know that there are people who say they can't read Lovecraft, where you give it to them and they're just like, I can't read this. I've always found him immensely readable. He did get better as an author, the way one would hope.
Right.
It's his output was epic. The fact that he created, because he died relatively young from stomach cancer. I think he was in his early 50s, maybe. And he went pretty quick. And unfortunately died penniless and, virtually unknown and unappreciated. His triumph was entirely posthumous. But holy shit, what a absolutely towering talent that he was. And there were people, mostly his fellow pulp writers, that were like, yo, that this guy's a real talent. But they were all writing pulp fiction. Most of them weren't expecting that people would be remembering these stories like a century later.
Right.
But they're immortal now. Yeah, so basically it's like a conjuring. They basically conjure Dagon.
I never see.
And he rises out of the ocean. Kind of like Cthulhu, although Cthulhu's imprisoned in this underwater city called Brilia. Right now, why is that frozen? I'm trying to start that shit up, and now it's not starting up. Pops, are you fucking with me?
No, sir.
Okay. No worries. Let me try this again. Yeah, it's just stuck. All right, let me try reloading that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a fucking that's a really good scene. Naturally, you don't see Dagon because you have to say that for the end of the movie.
Right.
When you finally do see him, it's not a very good payoff.
It's quick, too. You have to pause it, really.
You do.
You really expect it. Looked like it was like kind of cycloptic in nature. Looked like he had one big eye coming out of like a human like upper body with the lower torso of a squid, Yeah. Here, let's also take a look at this scene, which is really great. Which is basically a fight scene, and with where Paul is, running. Like I said, this is basically the entire second act of the movie is like one big chase scene, and he finds himself in a house where he shouldn't be. And this is this is a very moist movie. It's a very damp movie. This is maybe the dampest and the moistest scene I think in the entire film. Yeah, place looks abandoned, but he quickly he's discovered now he's not alone in there.
No.
It's just a froggy. And all those shots where he's like peeking through windows and between slats and fences and shit, watching the mob of Innsmouthians searching for him, that's very much makes you feel like you're in that story.
Right.
Little snitch. So there's a perfectly normal human looking little boy in there, and he just starts yelling.
Se me he equivocado de hombre, no, cállate, me confunden con alguien, chico, te equivocas. Aquí.
Easy, Chico. As you can tell, this clip is from the Spanish language version. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like you look at the CGI effects in this, and they're they're really disappointing. Like I said, there's not enough to like harm the film, but holy fucking shit, the practical effects in this are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, the little boy's cheering him on. Like, this must be like either his father or his big brother. Oh, gnarly.
Gnarls.
Yeah. It's like the worst. It's like the worst hotel room in the world. Now it's getting swirly and like the worst toilet in the world. Ouch. You ain't getting up from that one.
Yeah, right?
Night-night.
Scene. Yeah, so it's just like they're everywhere. Eventually, they're gonna catch them, and then of course, eventually, they do. And I don't know how much of this we should how much of this we should give away. This is everybody. If you've never seen DAGON before, link is below in the description where you can watch it for free. I hadn't seen this movie in years. I remember really liking it when it first came out. But watching it again, it's actually better than I remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. A lot of little like nuggets in there. Like even the boathouses have, I think, like a Dagonic like feel to them if you're looking out in the water when they're coming aboard land, you know, to shore.
Yes.
Yeah, fucking pretty metal, man. It does have the dread and a lot of little like surprises here and there, little details, you know, like ID was saying, you know, about the rocking of the boat, and then they don't blink their eyes, right, because they're fish, basically.
Yes, they're getting ready for the ocean. They're making their transit. They're transitioning.
The scary part was when he found all the human flesh masks and you know whatnot in that abandoned house, and that was pretty scary. You knew they weren't fucking around, so they actually need his skin to house their new bodies.
Those Clark Kent glasses go away, dude turns into Superman.
Yeah, he turns into Superman, dude.
Well,
this fight right here, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to spoil, but like this fight scene right here, man, was pretty badass. I didn't expect it to go down the way it did.
Right.
And the special effects right here on the old guy that passed away. Oh
my god.
So brutal, so good.
This is one of the
terrifying,
most
dude.
brutal kills.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's emotional too, because
it hits.
The old man thanks Paul. He thanks him. Like, thank you for like basically giving me an opportunity to like regain my humanity and remember where I came from, remember my mother, remember my father.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he bites it really, really hard. That's an absolutely. It is one of, I mean, it's an incredibly gruesome special effect, but it's one of those moments like the really gruesome moments in Castle Freak where you're like, all right, like they're not fucking around anymore.
Yeah, and it's like at that point you're like, there's his past the point of no return. He's not gonna win. He's completely fucked. And, you know, and I know that's how Lovecraft's movies end. They end fucked up. All of them, that's part of his shtick, you know, in his writing. Which I'm cool with. Which I'm cool with.
They either die or they end up insane, you know?
Which I'm cool with. You know what I mean? That's usually how life really is, right? In some degree. But to see him get a little comeuppance, you know what I mean? To get him a little stabby. Like, I like seeing
it's
that.
A great moment.
I like seeing that. It was a good character moment, too, you know, where he just got the full flex on these motherfuckers.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, it's an extreme situation, right? It's like, you know, the coward who goes fucking full circle, and now you're dealing with a lunatic. Now you're basically dealing with a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
And, you know, most people, I think, could get pushed to a point like that. I mean, some people are just going to curl up, you know, that you would think would be real tough, but then you're also going to get some people that you think are really soft that are going to go fucking really hard in the other direction.
Berserk.
And surprise you, and then next thing you know, the bad guys have a fucking maniac on their hands. But I just man, this final scene, I just love the look of it. It's so freaking nightmarish.
Yeah, it's like hell, basically, like the amber lighting from the flames and just all the ornamentation on the ritual ritualistic stuff. It's like, oh man, just terrifying scene. Right. I think, dude, there's a lot, like you could literally like I was saying, you could remake this movie like in different cultures, bro. Like you could do a Japanese version, a Chinese version, a Mexican version, like a fucking, you know what I mean? You could do an Australian version. You could do the proper, New England version. You could do an English one, a Scandinavian one. It would still be fucking dope, dude. Like, and you could tweak it and do different things with each one of those things. It's a very evergreen approach to a story. Like, there's a lot you could do with this. And
a lot of artists have done a lot of stuff in this, right? Neil Gaiman did a short story that was turned into a comic, a not very good one, which is Lawrence Talbot, the Wolfman, going to Innsmouth.
Oh, that sounds pretty dope. Ain't gonna lie.
It's
sounds
not
pretty epic.
It's not, but it's an epic idea.
Whacking fucking squid heads off and shit.
No, it never. No, because also the art is it's not that the art is bad. It's just the wrong artist.
It's kind of limiting or something, or it's story, or
I mean, it's worth a look. It's worth a look.
Well, it's like you're gonna have the fucking Wolfman go there. I mean, you're gonna have him as Talbot, like human form, Lon Chaney Jr.
He doesn't
like
look
the whole
like
time.
Lon Chaney Jr. and he does.
What is he gonna do? I mean, he better be like, you know what I'm talking? Like, he better be fucking some fish people up, like tearing to shreds. There's at least one scene in the motherfucker. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's gonna have some detecting, right? As Talbot, that's what I would do if I put that like in the beginning and But depends on how many. I don't know. I have to check it out, I guess.
I don't think, like I said, I'm not crazy about it. The one thing nobody ever does is they never go down that fucking hole and explore the city, right?
I mean, that's a whole, fucking quadrilogy of stories you could do, right?
Yeah. That's where we're going with Blood Hunt, Doc Salem crossover.
Oh, okay.
We're going down that hole. Because
awesome.
I just, as a fan, I was just like, shit. Because it just happened that way. Because, like I said, in issue number 1 of Doc Salem, at the very beginning, it opens with Doc Salem killing Dagon.
Right.
And I thought, okay, I'm writing Victor Frankenstein. This is a guy who is not taking a lot of time to consider the repercussions of his actions. So let me make this story about that, at least partly about that, right? Where it's just like maybe the deep ones are going to want a little fucking payback for that. And but it's I can't wait to see that shit. And hopefully we do Lovecraft and Lovecraft fans. I mean, look, you can't. I was into Lovecraft before Lovecraft was cool. God damn it.
I mean, you, Sim, and Preston are all fans, so I'm sure you guys.
I'm not gonna.
Exquisite.
Right. It's just like I tried to do something that I don't know if Lovecraft would be happy with it, because that's the thing. I'm writing for fucking Preston and Sim. And
as long as you're having fun and you three are happy with it, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's the thing is I have to write it so, when you know who you're writing for, you want to give them a lot of shit that they would love drawing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And those guys love drawing action.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be explored down there. You know what I mean? Like it could be a fun challenge. You know what I mean? That world down there. It's a lot of. It could be very scary, and there's a lot of things you could. A lot of opportunities to do down there.
That's what I was thinking. One of the things I do find a little disappointing is the gold items that they get, right? Because also they're not just getting like nets full of fish; they're also getting gold, right? Because the deep ones are master craftsmen, right? So the gold that they get is intricate jewelry, like made by like an absolute master. And I'm sorry, that thing that she's wearing on her head, it doesn't quite do it for me. But it looks fine.
It doesn't measure up. Yeah.
Like Pinhead got his hands on it or something.
Yeah. In other words, it's not that it looks bad. It's just that, it's a minor gripe. It's as a total nitpick. A total nitpick.
It's just kind of meh.
Right. Whereas it should be something that looks really, really impressive but once again, it's just like first of all, the climax of your horror movie is always going to be better with some fire.
Oh,
and
yeah,
with some
sure.
practical fucking fire.
Straight
stuff.
Fire.
And great fiery finale. And the ending to this is, if you've read the story, it's very faithful.
Well, that's good.
In a condensed way, right? That's to say, it's faithful in spirit.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because in the story, he gets out of this and he goes off and then starts learning things about himself that he didn't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A little more rich, huh?
Right. So this kind of like, in other words, it's not that the ending's not faithful. It's just that it's condensed.
I mean, it's kind of cool too because it keeps things a little more tight and concise and a little more of a reveal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's more like Teen Wolf,
right? Because that's the thing. It's not. Lovecraft is notoriously difficult to adapt. He really is. This is one of the best Lovecraft adaptations. I think the best Lovecraft adaptation ever is The Color Out of Space, the one that Richard Stanley did a couple of years ago.
That's a good one with Cage, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's the best. This might be like a close second.
Well, I sure enjoyed this one more than that one. That one was good, but this one just got a lot to like about it. I would like to see a remake of this. Like, I think there's a lot to be done.
It's. Here's the thing about Lovecraft. He was a pulp writer, right?
Yeah.
And that's a story that moves. And
exactly.
This is a movie that's like I said, the entire second act is like a chase scene.
Yeah, totally, 100%. I think it's cool too to set it up the way that they did as such, to kind of build the chase. You know what I mean? Like kind of load the gun up. You know what I mean? And then just start blasting.
Absolutely. Now, of course, Stuart Gordon's gone. Richard Stanley is canceled. He got not Me Too'd, but Me Too'd-ish. Like an ex-girlfriend came out with allegations of abuse. And so he had a three-picture deal, I think, with the same people that produced A24, the same people that produced Mandy and The Color Out of Space.
Yeah, they're pretty big. A24 is like blowing up.
Yes. Dude, not like 8 out of 10 of their movies are fucking dope.
Yeah, right.
He was going to do the Dunwich Horror next, and then he said he was going to do a third one, but he wasn't going to say what that was. I suspect it was this. I suspect it was going to be like the Shadow over Innsmouth. I don't know for sure though. But yeah, he's like a major Lovecraft stan. But your overall take on the movie.
Oh man, I thought it was fucking badass. Two Horns way up, dude. Hard recommend. Lot to love about this movie, like from an artist perspective, a horror perspective, just as a great entertaining horror movie. It's fun, dude. It's right. It's definitely of its time, not in 1910, but of the early like 80s, 90s era. Which there's things about there that you like about it. You know what I mean? You can feel it. Little things probably in the humor of the movie. Little things here and there. Wardrobe, like the main characters and stuff like that. Like it's dating it. But yeah, man, I will definitely go back and rewatch this movie again.
Glad you enjoyed it. Actually, I have. Hold on, I have the DVD here somewhere. Oh, it feels good to get up and stretch.
Right. Got to stretch every 2 hours.
Yes. Yeah. There's a rumor. I don't know if you heard it that John Carpenter is teasing a sequel
to the Thing. I seen that on Twitter. Yeah, I was like, well, if Kurt comes back, I'm down. I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah. At the same time, I kind of don't want him to do it.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't want their preciousness getting salted.
Oops.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like, you know, that one's a masterpiece. One of the best horror movies ever made.
One of the best horror. Top 10.
Yeah, like give me another one with Kurt. I'll take another Big Trouble while you're at it.
Oops.
While they're still alive, I'll take them. You know.
I booted myself by accident. But yeah, this was a movie when it first came out. I didn't rent it. I was like Stuart Gordon, Dennis Paoli, like the Reanimator
totally.
Guys, Lovecraft.
Like, I do the same shit for certain artists and writers. I'll just straight up buy their material just because I like know they're gonna deliver, right?
Yep. There is a Blu-ray version of this.
I do that with bands all the time too. Like bands that I like, I'll straight up buy their shit, and I try not to listen to it either. I'll just buy the whole album.
Well, everybody. Well, look, you have to invest in physical media right now because they're coming for all of the shit.
Oh, they're
coming for everything. And if people are thinking like, nah, my shit's too obscure, they're not gonna fuck with that. Yeah, they will. Watch and see. You know, they're gonna have AIs out there fucking with you. And
hey, what were you saying about subspecies?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We should take a
skip
quick
the week in horror, but maybe we could hit it on the back right now.
Yeah. Let us do that because we do also have a trailer for fucking Subspecies 5,
I'm a fan of that character. He's pretty dope.
Radu Vladislas.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see what they do with modern stuff. You know, hopefully it's not.
Give me the bloodstone. Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm afraid, but then again, my bitch ass needs to just shut up and be like happy that there's a Subspecies 5, that there's at least a chance that'll be good, that it won't, that this won't be shit.
I do want to say, as far as the movie tonight, I saw enough things to crack jokes about that I could probably see myself watching it.
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
It's fun. It looked like it'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a fun ride.
I mean, it's it's like I said, the entire second act is a fucking chase scene. So it's not like this movie like really you're not gonna get bored watching this.
No, it's a ride. And I will say too, like not to shield too hard for the homies, but like at the end of the movie where they go, you're like, damn, you're like, what's down there? You know what I mean? Like I want to go and see what's down there, and like I'm gonna get that in fucking Doc Salem and Blood Hunt. You know what I mean? That's gonna be dope.
Hopefully, that'll happen sometime in the future. I'm talking to you, Sim. I'm fucking shooting the stink eye. No, I wrote the script. Whenever they want to do it, it's sitting there. It's all good. And man, doing a bunch of other shit with those dudes. And got the first peek at the 6-gun gorilla art too. But yeah, here let's take a little look at the trailer for Subspecies 5. Mommy!
Oh shit!
Crusaders stole the cursed child.
Now they were gonna shoot this, like years ago, but then the Rona came along.
Yeah, I remember.
And this was one of those movies that got canceled by the Rona.
Oh,
now,
that's him.
Now you see, my problem with this is it looks like he's not born a vampire.
It looks like they're retconning it, maybe.
That's my concern. Now that's Anders hope, of course. You can't do a fucking Subspecies movie without that dude.
Right.
He is that franchise.
They could just be like, well, this is the real story, you know, like this isn't, you know.
Right.
Like,
we have come for the Bloodstone.
The Bloodstone.
What is your name, Crusader?
Radu.
He's a fucking Templar in this one.
He's a Templar.
He's not born into it, so it looks like they're retconning it a little bit.
Yeah, and that's Mommy.
Spare my child.
Don't listen to the lies of demons.
All that is can be yours.
She spoke the truth, Marrow.
She's a vampire.
Just becoming one.
Now they did shoot this in Romania.
The same spot looks like the same,
right?
Same
the
castle, right?
Yeah. So the locations look pretty dope.
Yeah, it looks like the same space, the same castle and everything.
Unto eternity.
And of course, that's God. I'm blanking on her name. Who's in subspecies 2 and 3? She's in 4 too, actually. I know Anders Hove was saying that like her body was like super banging. He's just like, oh man, in her body, I don't know what's going on there, man.
I'm defiant.
It's got the theme.
Piano.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it looks like an origin story. It looks like a record. I'm sorry to sound like negative or to come negative, because the fact that we're even getting a subspecies 5, I should like drink, have a coconut smile and shut the fuck up.
I got something to say about this once it's over, right here.
You are not our master.
You have so much to learn.
And of course, what am I really looking forward to? Seeing fucking Anders Hove chewing up the fucking scenery. One of the great horror icons, one of the great, scenery chewing fucking performances.
I got 2 things to say about this sport. Blood Rise.
Life or death. This choice is yours.
Am I going to watch the hell out of this? Hell yeah.
So, like, first thing, 3 things. I fucking think it looks dope as fuck. This is, like, what I like, this era. Like, you don't see vampire movies like that.
Sure don't.
2, I think he's playing his father, which dies in the first movie from Phantasm, Tall Man. That's who he's playing. And he impregnates the lady. So he's playing a different character. And then 3, it looks like fucking Blood Omen, dude. The Legacy of Kain series. You ever play those games?
Yes, of course.
That's the same fucking like story as Blood Omen. He's like this aristocratic dude that gets bit, but here he's a Templar, which I fucking like Templar shit. So it's even better in that regard. So I'm mad hyped about this movie.
Yeah, it should be coming out real soon.
He can't really play the younger version of himself, you know. They're like, well, fuck, what do we do? Let's play the, you know. So if that's how I would do it. I'd have him play what's his name, Angus Scrim. I'd have him play his role, you know, and just kind of looks like him, right? A little bit,
right.
Kind of looks like him, serviceable as him.
He does.
Right?
The hair, certainly.
The hair. They didn't.
They had a really bad wig on him.
Right. So I would do that. It kind of fits organically, and he can make a whole nother trilogy out of his father's character, you know, back then. And they have the fucking location.
Right.
You can just, you know, and the next movie's bigger, hired fucking the Renaissance Fair to come in to get more money. Like, I don't know what the fuck, but yeah, dude, this looks dope.
Oh, snap. This is currently streaming on Screambox.
What?
Yeah, so this is actually out there. I don't think so. I think that might be like Shudder or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, I've been known to sail the high seas.
Hey.
You know, we'll see.
This one, like, for me, like, if someone put all these movies out, like, in front of me, like, which one you want to watch? Like, just by me, like, liking, like, Blood Omen and, like, Rise of the Lycans. I like medieval fucking vampire horror shit and werewolf shit. I would jump on this one
can't get more
first.
metal than that.
Yeah, I would jump on this one first and then kind of go into the first and second one because this looks dope, dog. Like, yeah, it's my jam.
Right? Yeah.
Jammy Jam. I didn't know they were going to do that with this. I thought he was going to be, like, kind of up in a city somewhere, probably, like, Bucharest or some shit, like, elder fucking rad dude. You know what I mean? I didn't think they were going to do a movie in this whole time period. That's ballsy.
There's so many things that you could fucking do with that character, like weird, like scenarios that you could put him in that could be like sort of batshit crazy, but awesome to see him in like modern, like metropolitan, Bucharest or someplace like that.
I was thinking having him like be visited by aliens or some shit.
Yeah, and it's kind of tongue in cheek in some ways. Like kind of fun, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
for
the
sure.
way they take out possibly this character in the first movie, it's just like he's just kind of gone, right? Like pretty quick.
Right. Oh yeah, and then there's okay, so the subspecies, like that whole Ted Nicolau universe consists of subspecies 2 and 3, which were shot back to back, subspecies 4, which came out 10 years after that, but also before subspecies 4, there's the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Yeah, it's set in the same universe. It's worth watching.
Okay.
It's worth watching.
I'll check it out.
But it doesn't have fucking Anders Hove as fucking Radu Vladislas.
Someone else is playing him?
No, it's different characters.
Well, that's better then. I'd rather be that, than, like I'm down with that. Like if they're doing an Evil Dead movie, don't fucking put Ash in there. Bring some other characters in. Oh, there's more than one Necronomicon. Fuck it. Like stuff like that. Like I'm cool with that because you're lore building at that point.
Yeah. And also when you realize this is like, it's the same way when I was a little disappointed by Evil Dead Rise.
I haven't seen it yet. Can't wait.
You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna
enjoy it. A lot of content this year. I gotta bounce back within a year.
Oh, dude, have you seen Redfield yet?
2024 is my comeback year. What's up?
Oh, all of our comeback years. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Because man, we got our asses handed to us this year. Well, I got my ass handed to me like this is my third year of getting my ass. Third year in a row getting my fucking ass handed to me. But
still the year ain't over yet too though. So hopefully shit starts. It's still the beginning of the year, right?
Yep.
For 6 months, anyways. First half. Sorry.
Yep. Starting to get fucking humid as fuck here in New York.
Yep. I was gonna ask you, man. That town, like we're kind of on this type of topic. Ancient horrors and whatnot. The town of Sleepy Hollow, you said there's like an old colonial village that you could go to up there?
Yeah. Well, not an old colonial village. There's why am I blanking on his name? Oh yeah, that's right.
Washington Irving?
Washington Irving. Thank you. Yes, Sunnyside is there, which was his home, which is perfectly preserved. It was a good location for him too, because when somebody like Charles Dickens would come through, like on a reading tour, or Oscar Wilde or any of those cats, they would like stop in to visit him.
That's cool.
Yeah. Or well, I don't know. I'm not Oscar Wilde, but Dickens did. But Dickens, when he first came to America, the first thing he wanted to do was to meet Washington Irving. It was like a huge fan of his. But yeah, it's like everything's like preserved.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then of course, every year they've got like a jack-o'-lantern festival and a haunted hayride, and
that's cool. Like in October, obviously, right?
Yeah. Like I said, the only reason why it's actually part of Tarrytown but basically Washington Irving did something similar to what Lovecraft did. He created a part of that area of the Hudson Valley that doesn't really exist.
Like Tinseltown, or was it Tinseltown? No, it wasn't. It was Tarrytown in the book too, I believe, right? And Sleepy Hollow.
Yes. And so basically they renamed that part of Tarrytown because he describes actual places.
Yeah.
Right? He basically set that in the real world, in his real world.
You got it sometimes, right?
Yeah. However, I can't see any fishing villages in Maine changing their name to Innsmouth. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Matt, Brian, I gotta check out, man.
All right, brother.
Good seeing you. Actually, you know what? We're gonna peace out too. Do you want to run the commercials?
Yeah. Run yours. Run the comic book for kids. Go out.
All right. All right.
I mean, do it. We're getting ready to do the switch on the modem, so I gotta.
Okay. All right.
You're good. Just do what you normally do.
All right. Peace out, Pops. Good seeing you, man. Peace.
Later, brother.
Oh man. So, what should we watch next week? You think?
There's so many good movies out there.
I know.
I'm to be honest, bro. Like I'm kind of just like hungry for new stuff. You know what I mean? Like like stuff like fucking Doggone. You know what I mean? So Doggone Dagon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, there's stuff, but I mean, it's things that's pop culture horror. You know, sub pop
and
stuff
dude,
like that.
You can fucking get the access now is insane.
What with Tubi or
with Tubi, Crackle, all that shit. I mean, the one thing that that's hard to find is Hammer. There's not a lot of Hammer.
Oh, yeah. I like me some Hammer, bro. Like I'm always like about to go watch a Hammer movie, but then I like something comes up or I need to because sometimes, dude, like I can't watch the movie because I might be drawing, and some movies I need to sit there and really like examine, I guess is how you put it.
Yeah.
And watch it and enjoy it, but sometimes I don't have time. I got to do both, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, dude, Hammer, bro, for sure.
Hammer. I said.
I've been wanting to watch that Sherlock Holmes one, the Baskerville Hounds of the Baskerville.
Hound of the Baskervilles? Yeah, that's a really good one.
I haven't got around to it though. It's just fun.
Oh, yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you, dog. Beyond the Darkness, I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do that to you. That's filth. Beyond the Darkness. That's like, oh man, that's a Joe D'Amato movie. That's vile. In an awesome way, though, mind you. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate you. Matt, tell these folks where they can find you and what you got.
If you guys want, you could find me on YouTube. My channel is Metal Movies and Brewskis, where I talk about comics, metal movies, brewskis. And I've been putting up some drawing bids on there too, just like quick ones on shorts. If you guys want to support me, you can. If you want to back my book, it's at butchcleaver.com. And if you guys want, you can follow me on Twitter at RuneCutterComic, as you see right down below right there. Yeah. So thanks, Brian.
Oh, thank you, dude. And I had to get up and fucking stretch. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, you can watch tonight's movie. A link is below in the description where you can watch the movie for free. Anyway, we will see you next week. Matt, I'll hang out. I'm gonna, so we can powwow, so we can talk trash about people behind their backs. Anyway, until we meet again next week, everybody, peace and love and